We have stated and shown many times how racism, white supremacy is dangerous for the health of Black Americans. It's very dangerous. Or even if you're in the UK and you're dealing with racism, white supremacy, it's dangerous for you as well. So we can't just say just Black Americans, because some of you brothers and sisters tell me about the racism you deal with in the UK. So there was a research, it was published in a medical journal called Health Psychology, found that Black people who said they were discriminated against over a 10-year period showed evidence of more rapidly aging cells. Now, say scientists say that the shortening of DNA sequences called telomeres, which prevent chromosomes from deteriorating, is behind it all. So say shorter telomeres lead to a higher risk of ailments like heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and dementia. It said, but there's a factor that contributes to cell aging. Say one of the factors that can lead to more rapid telomere shortening is high levels of stress. When we talked about before, stress can kill you, and racism, white supremacy put an extra stress on Black people for the color of their skin. Now, they say another researcher by the name of Dr. David Che, an associate professor at Auburn University in Alabama, said, according to a statement, racial discrimination is a particular type of stress experienced by African Americans. So we investigated one particular mechanism, let's say, through which this occurs. It said, namely, its impact on telomere maintenance system. Okay. So it said, according to the medicalexpress.com, 391 African Americans participated in the study. Each of them was in the coronary artery risk development in young adults. It said telomere ancillary study and came from Birmingham, Alabama, Chicago, Minneapolis, and Oakland. It's a baseline set of data was collected in 2000 when participants were 40, and then again in 2010. It said they were asked about instances of discrimination, and say which they describe experiencing in day-to-day life or at work or in the process of finding employment. So according to Che, it said one of the strong points of the study was that researchers could see how discrimination affects the health of African Americans. They were able to explicitly look at how changes in African Americans' experiences of race discrimination over time are directly related to rates of telomere shortening. With all that said, racism, white supremacy is dangerous to the health of Black Americans. That's basically what they're telling us. And that's why I'm saying you can't fully escape it in this country, but you can greatly minimize it in many ways. There's a lot of ways we can minimize the interaction, because if we can lessen our interaction with certain individuals, then we can stop some of these things from happening. Also, our poor eating habits a lot of times affect our health on top of this. So we're dealing with a double whammy. So we already, have high blood pressure, diabetes, or dealing with all kind of issues. And then we're dealing with the stress that comes from racism, white supremacy, with just double whammy. And you wonder why young Black men, and we would say young, like John Singleton, would have a heart attack, or, just different things that we go with. People don't go to the doctor because of medical racism. You get what I'm saying? Because Black people have a history of not trusting doctors because of things they've done to us. So we have to tell people, find you a, Black doctor out there, a good Black doctor if you can, because of medical racism. Every aspect in life, we deal with racism. Try to get a house, we showed that racism. You're on the job market, you're discriminated against if you have a Black sounding name, no matter how great your resume is. You understand? Sometimes you're trained, you're more educated than some of your Caucasian counterparts, but yet they will come in the door, you'll teach them the job, and they'll be your supervisor within a year or two. They have none of your experience, none anything, but yet they give them those jobs. Not to say they worked hard, deserved it. Sometimes they just give it to them when they don't have the education, experience, or anything. That's annoying. That's stressful. That definitely could piss you off because it's affecting your money, how you feed your family. So racism, white supremacy is a very, very serious thing, and minimizing it much as possible and even getting away from it is even good. Because what I have found out the first time I went to Ethiopia in 2018, getting out of the environment and being placed in an environment where it's no racism, You just actually feel like a black person. You actually feel like an individual. For me, I gotta have that every year. It's not a time that I'm say I'm not gonna go to the continent. I gotta go at least once a year. I have to escape this place. I have to be in an environment where I'm just feel I'm not a black man. Everybody black like me, so why I would say I'm a black man. And just being in that environment sometime a week or two can recharge me. And that way I can come back and deal with all of this. This is why when I came back from Ethiopia in 2018, and even when I was there in Ethiopia and I did that live stream, I told you guys that you got to have your Africa plan. You got to get your passport, and then you got to make your first trip. And we have 3 particular trips coming up. We have one going to Senegal and Gambia in May. The link would be below that you could sign up for that. You can pay your deposit of $500. Also, after that, we have South Africa. That's coming up in September. We only have 5 spots left, and that's about to be gone. So use this time that you're getting an income tax. Let Uncle Sam send you on your second step of your Africa plan. Then we have Kenya coming up in October right after that. You want to go on that because you're going to have 12 days. I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy yourself. I went to Kenya last year. It was awesome. You want to be there. You want to meet great people. And, we can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you brothers and sisters on some of these trips. It'll be awesome to meet a lot of you there in Kenya or South Africa, etc. But make sure you go to that pinned comment below and you click that link. If you go for the South Africa one, because that one's about to go, and you always wanted to go to South Africa, Johannesburg, Cape Town, you want to go see all the sights and sounds with that, make sure you fill out that form that when you get to the site, say you're from African Diaspora News Channel, and that you want the information and to pay up a deposit for the South Africa trip. But 5 spots left mean, hey, that could sound like 2 couples can go and 1 single person, or just 1 couple with their kids can go. It just, hey, but it's there. 5 spots left. Once it's gone, it's gone. Now leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the situation with this particular study. But racism, white supremacy is bad for our health, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a joke. That's why we have to not play with this. We have to take this seriously because we have enough issues and problems. We don't need no one making us old for our time.